learners, welcome to my course Ecology from Cells to Gaia. Today we will talk about environmental conditions and Earth biomes. There are some geographical patterns and the variety of influences on climatic conditions over the surface of the globe causes a mosaic of climates. This in turn is responsible for the large-scale pattern of distribution of terrestrial and aquatic biomes. If you remember the ecological organization described in the first lecture, a biome is a composition of ecosystem in a larger area, and every biome has a gradient of physiochemical condition related to the local topographic, geological, and soil features. The communities of plants and animals that occur in those different locations may be quite distinct. In most aquatic biomes and aquatic environments, it's difficult to recognize anything comparable to the terrestrial biomes. In fact, the communities of streams, rivers, lakes, estuaries, and open oceans reflects the local condition and resources than the global patterns in climate. Species composition and the composition of local communities can change over time scales, ranging from hours through decades to millennia. When we talk about terrestrial biomes, a map of biomes we can consider usually a map of the distribution of species. It shows where we find areas of land dominated by plants with characteristic life forms. So we can now start to describe some of the most important biomes on Earth. Tropical rainforest represents the global peak of evolved biological diversity. Its exceptional productivity results from the coincidence of high solar radiation received throughout the year and regular and reliable rainfall. Savanna consists of grassland with scattered small trees. Seasonal rainfall places the most severe restriction on the diversity of plants and animals in this biome. Grazing herbivores and fire also influence the vegetation, favoring grasses and hindering the regeneration of trees. Temperate grasslands occur instead in steppes, prairies, and pampas. Typically, it experiences seasonal drought, but the rural climate in determining vegetation is usually overridden by the effects of grazing animals. Humans have transformed temperate grassland more than any other biome. Many desert plants have an opportunistic lifestyle stimulated into germination by unpredictable rains. Others, such as cacti, are long-lived and have a sluggish physiological process. Animal diversity in desert is very low, reflecting the low productivity of the vegetation and the indigestibility of much of it. Temperate forests at lower latitudes experience mild winters, and the vegetation consists of broad-leaved evergreen trees. Nearer the poles, instead, the seasons are strongly marked and the vegetation is dominated by deciduous trees. Soils are usually rich in organic matter. Northern coniferous forests have a few tree species and contrast strongly with the biodiversity of tropical rainforests, reflecting a slow recovery from the catastrophe of ice ages and the overriding local constraint of frozen soil. Near the poles, the vegetation changes from taiga to tundra, and the two often form a mosaic in the low Arctic. The mammal population of the northern biomes often pass through remarkable cycles of expansion and collapse. Talking about aquatic biomes, we consider streams or rivers that are characterized by their linear form, unidirectional flow, fluctuating discharge, and unstable beds. The terrestrial vegetation surrounding a stream has a strong influence on the resources available to its inhabitants. The conversion of forests to agriculture can have far-reaching effects. Lake ecology instead is defined by the relatively stationary nature of its water. Some lakes stratify vertically in response to temperature, with consequences for the availability of oxygen and plant nutrients. Lakes higher in the landscape may receive more of their water from rainfall. Those at lower latitudes instead receive more from groundwater. Sunny lakes are a different kind, and they are mostly in arid regions that lack a stream outflow and lose water only by evaporation. The biggest biome on our planet is the ocean, and the ocean covers the major part of our surface in our planet and receive most of the solar radiation. However, many areas have a very low biological activity because of a shortage of mineral nutrients. Below the surface zone is increasing darkness, but at the ocean floor there may be an abyssal environment that supports a diverse community with very slow biological activity. Coastal communities in the marine environment are enriched by nutrients from the land, but they are affected by waves and tides. Within a single stretch of coast, there is a zonation in the flora and fauna that differs between areas with heavy and light wave action. Estuaries occur at the confluence of a river with fresh water and a tidal bay with salt water. Strong gradients in salinity in both space and time are reflected in a specialized estuarine fauna. So now, again, at the end of this lecture, I have some questions for you. The first one is, why are deserts more likely to be found around 30 degrees of latitude than any other latitudes? The second question is, why the tropical rainforest is a diverse community supported by a nutrient-poor soil? And the third question, and the last question, is, which of the Earth biomes do you think have been most strongly influenced by people? So thanks for your attention and see you at the next lecture.